Please remain standing. We begin our commencement exercises with the MacArthur ROTC Color Guard posting the colors. Academy student Christine Mariano will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Attention. Harry, color. Forward, march. Color guard, halt. Halt, color. Present, arm.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. The American flag is the symbol of our country and of our school. Like our founding fathers, we are persistent and do not give up on our goals. We are committed to completing our high school education. At this time, we will pay a special tribute to our country and to the American flag. MacArthur student Gregory Mora will sing our school song, the national anthem. Please raise your flags in tribute.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Halt.
Please be seated.
Welcome to the Academy of Creative Education Spring Commencement Exercises. Hi, my name is Aubrey, and I am pleased to introduce to you my co-host, Chris Lowry. On behalf of all the graduation candidates, we would like to thank you for sharing this special morning with us.
At this time, Peter will examine the meaning of this occasion. Peter reminds us that by working together, we can overcome any obstacles.
Please bow your heads. One nation, under God, indivisible. Let us take those words to heart and learn to live by them, for they are more than just words. They are a belief that has shaped the course of our nation as it has shaped the course of our lives. For we are one nation. We are united in our belief to improve the quality of life. Education makes it possible to be the best of which we are capable. And we are under God, for we know that with the help of the Almighty, we will continue to grow as a people with the common goal of becoming citizens that will nourish and support each other. Under God, we are indivisible, working together to become a force for peace and freedom. Today, we ask God's blessing on this commencement exercise, and we ask that our efforts here today bind us together as Americans, as one people, now and forever.
It is my honor to introduce our distinguished platform guests. We ask that all applause be held until the guests have been introduced. Superintendent of the Northeast Independent School District, Dr. Richard Middleton. Texas State Comptroller, Carol Keaton Rylander. Representing the Office of District Attorney and Chairman of the Academy Advisory Corporate Council, Ed Miles Jr. Member of the Northeast Independent School District Board of Trustees, Mrs. Sandi Hughey. Associate Superintendent of Instruction, Dr. Alicia Thomas. Associate Superintendent of Business Services, Mr. Wes Robinson. Senior President, Bank of America, and Treasurer of the Academy Advisory Corporate Council, Mr. Vincent Green. Principal of the Academy of Creative Education, Dr. Mary Jo McLaughlin. Other special guests in our audience will be introduced later in the program. Introducing the graduates who will share their testimonials of personal struggles and success is our principal, Dr. Mary Jo McLaughlin.
We come together today to acknowledge the triumphs of the young men and women you see before you. The following students represent the Academy student body and will share their personal stories of struggle, persistence, and success. Shannon Danae Graves, Virginia Elizabeth Martinez, Peter Schultz Rowe, and Lucy Ann Zunica.
The greatest struggle in my life did not exist inside of me, but rather in the minds and in the hearts of those whom I came in contact with. Stereotype is the interloper that selfishly robbed me of the priceless treasure of success. That is, until I wrestled it to the ground. In several instances of years gone by, my physical condition has provoked many to look analytically down their noses at me until I felt no more than 3 inches high. How could she spawn anything of value? You mean she actually has an inkling of what life is about? Life can be no more than juvenile fancies for her. People's hearts beat, audible to me as a newborn child wails on arrival. Oh, but I had knowledge and beauty within, and steadfast determination painted across the sky. Picasso whips it into my thoughts. He produced such an abstract form of art, although very picturesque, and in his time, individuals snickered that he'd have the audacity to produce such scribble, as some saw it, and try to sell it as art. But he held on, and down to the last shred of hope. And so with this in mind, I held on, and I dispensed a wholehearted effort with each and every task, despite the criticism of others. And so, on the wings of my dreams, I began to soar higher than I ever imagined.
Hi, my name is Virginia Elizabeth Martinez, and I'm 18 years old. Life is wonderful and beautiful, but sometimes it can be difficult and cruel. I love my life and would not change one thing from my past, because every experience, whether it was good or bad, has made me who I am today. I dedicate today my graduation to my mother, who died 11 months after I was born. She had been battling bone cancer, but was in remission when I was conceived. Her dream of having a little girl was finally coming true. But the cancer returned while I was growing inside her. She decided to give up her life so that I could live mine. My mother loved me that much. She's my guardian angel, and I want nothing more than to make her proud of me. During my teen years, I suffered from depression. An unforeseen crisis tore our family apart. I was separated from my father, the only mother I've ever known, and the children I helped raise. I lost interest in school, my friends, and stayed in bed most of the time. It was the scariest feeling I've ever had in my life. But eventually, my family worked things out, but I still continued to suffer. But with the help of this physician, I was able to get my depression under control. My family and friends helped me realize there was still hope. Things really began looking hopeful when I entered the Academy of Creative Education. In spite of several struggles, not once did anyone give up on me there. I had always excelled in school, and in the self-paced program, I became successful again. Slowly, I began to heal emotionally and get over the hurt and anger. With the help of staff, my family, and my friends, and of course God, I was able to let go and become successful and focus on the future. And that future includes attending Eastern New Mexico University, studying medicine, and becoming a successful physician. Thank you.
My name is Peter Rowe, and I am 17 years old. As a young child growing up, I had no way to prepare for what I would eventually experience. My parents suffered from severe illness. I grew up quickly. By the age of 15, I was assuming adult responsibilities, such as making sure the bills were paid, buying groceries, and scheduling medical appointments. As a result, my education suffered, and I dropped out of school. A religious community, the Brothers of the Beloved Disciple, discovered my situation and encouraged my family and me. They eventually provided me with the basic needs of food and shelter. Through their efforts, a cousin, Barbara Henson, was located, and I moved in with her. I began attending Madison High School. My Madison counselors, Mrs. Canales and Mrs. Pill, recommended the program at ACE. The flexibility and acceleration offered by this non-traditional school helped me to catch up with my peers. Today, I will walk the stage as a high school graduate. This diploma could only have happened through the support of many friends, family, and educators. My youth minister, Chiquita Pacheco, not only encouraged me to earn my high school diploma, but also gave me the opportunity to become a motivational speaker at rallies and retreats for youth and young adults. Through these experiences, I have been able to give to others just as they have given to me. My future plans include applying for City Year, a national community service program. I am currently attending classes at San Antonio College. After completing basic requirements, I will transfer to Mary's University and study theology and look into a career in youth ministry.
Hi, my name is Lucian Suniga. I am 21 years old. I first heard of ACE from a student aide who was working in the Roosevelt Counseling Office. It sounded like a good program, but there had to be a catch. At this school, students chose in what order they would take their classes, how many hours they would attend each day to complete a 20-hour week, and how soon they would graduate in the self-paced program. I figured I'd give it a try. Besides, what did I have to lose? When I started at ACE, I was working full-time as an assistant manager at the International Bank of Commerce. I was now a full-time student, full-time employee, and full-time mother and wife. But the staff at ACE was understanding and helped me work out the perfect schedule to accommodate my responsibilities. I found myself enjoying classes I never even liked before, and after a couple of days, I noticed that I was even interested in classes like government, economics, and web designing. The staff was always ready and willing to help me, whether it was about school or if it had to do with my personal life. ACE taught me about loyalty, willingness, and responsibility. I want to thank my husband Robert, who rearranged his schedule to work nights so he can take care of our son while I attended school during the day. I want to thank my son Robert, who has been a big inspiration in my life, even if he is too young to realize it. With the advice and encouragement of my mom, my grandparents, and in-laws, I was able to stay focused on my goal. And I would like to thank a Spanish teacher who helped me change my attitude about American history. Gracias, Ms. Martinez. In fact, the entire ACE staff helped my dream of being a high school graduate come true. My future plans include continuing to work for IVC and to continue my education studying business and finance. Graduating has opened many doors and opportunities for me to have a better future. I'd like to leave you with one last thought. Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. Thank you for this moment.
As you can tell by these stories of strength and courage, this student body has a strong sense of who they are, what they believe, and where they are going. On their first day at the academy, students put on a cap and gown and are photographed in front of the American flag, our school symbol. And during that week, they write their personal mission statements, which guide them toward their personal goals. These mission statements are on display in the church foyer. These kinds of student success stories would not be possible without the support of our superintendent and his staff, who have always been advocates of the mission of the academy. We extend our thanks to Dr. Richard Middleton, who will now introduce our commencement speaker.
Each one of you, graduates of ACE today, came here in a unique way, and you created a lot of your own path. Well, I can tell you that what a treat it is today to introduce someone as exciting and as creative as the Comptroller of the state of Texas. You have a short biography in your bulletin, I believe. But let me just go over a few things, because I've had the pleasure of working with Carol Keaton Rylander on a number of occasions. Let me tell you that she was the first woman president of the Austin School Board. She often says if she wasn't a volunteer at the Cassis Elementary School, she'd never been mayor of Austin, only mayor elected 3 times. She's the first woman in history elected and re-elected to the Texas Railroad Commission, and the first woman in history elected the Texas Comptroller. She's been a recipient of the Texas Classroom Teacher Association's Friend of Education Award, and also elected as the first friend of taxpayers chosen by citizens for a sound economy. I will tell you that she's initiated school audit programs that helps districts throughout this state in their spending and in their efficiency. And she's also a vigorous supporter of the Texas Tomorrow Fund, a savings account that people can use for college and for their children, and one that I personally use and that we use for our youngest son. Just a few weeks ago, she came to Bradley Middle School and awarded a Bradley student who had drawn a poster for the Texas Tomorrow Fund a 4-year fully paid scholarship to any public school, public university in the state of Texas. And I will tell you then that she not only supports education, she makes it happen. All of these things, all of these accomplishments that I have seen from Carol Keaton Rylander make her a role model for all of us today. You see, we have had many situations in the state of Texas where we've needed that strong leadership, where we've needed to know how much money the state of Texas will have to spend, and she's the one who must stand up and certify how much money there is. She's the one who heads the property tax division of the state of Texas. And the reason we have a quality educational program in this school district is largely the result of property taxes and largely the result of her help. She has helped us when the Northeast School District has needed help in property taxes and in governance situations. I will tell you that she is not only known in the state of Texas as one tough grandma, but she's an education watchdog and a government innovator. But most of all, I think she's a role model for all of us today, because she's a person who listens, who solves problems, and creates solutions. Please join me in welcoming Texas Comptroller Carol Keaton-Rylander.
Thank you so much, Dr. Middleton. Dr. Richard Middleton and all the fine representatives, Chairman of the Advisory Corporate Council, Ed Miles Jr., and my good friend and Board of Trustees member Sandi Hughey, and Dr. Alicia Thomas, and Wes Robinson, who is the Treasurer of the Academy Advisory Corporate Council, and Vincent Green is the Academy President, Wes Robinson, Assistant Superintendent for Business Services, and Twain Thorpe, who's Executive Director of Special Programs, Dr. Mary Jo McLaughlin, how fantastic you are, and most importantly of all, to the 2002 ACE graduates. I tell you, it is great to be an American, it's great to be a Texan, it's great to be the first woman in history elected comptroller, but it doesn't get better than being right here today with these young men and young women who have literally turned their lives around and who are our future in the 21st century. I'm honored to be with you. Dr. Middleton's introduction is a whole lot better than what happened to me recently. This fellow who's introduced me was doing it rather quickly. And instead of introducing me as having been the first woman mayor of Austin, he introduced me as having been the first mayor of Austin. And I was in the back of the room and I said, that was 1839. This fellow sitting next to me said, hey, you look really good. I said, you know, everything is relative. It's true. If I hadn't been laminating chairman of the C.P.A, I wouldn't be Texas Comptroller now. School board cut off our funds, and I did not like that. I was on the campaign trail and introduced myself, and I was traveling with a former Miss Texas who is from San Antonio, very dynamic young woman, survivor of cancer, Suzanne Lawrence. At that time, she was ambassador to Fiesta here in San Antonio. And we were getting ready to land in Victoria. This is where you're hitting 5 or 6 cities at one time. And I turned around to Suzanne and I said, hey, Suzanne, you want to have a little fun? She said, sure, Carol. I said, great, follow me. I climbed off the plane. I walked right up to the podium with the cameras rolling. And I said, hi, I'm Suzanne Lawrence. I'm a former Miss Texas. Now I want to introduce Carol Keaton-Rylander to you. Without missing a beat, she walked right up that podium and started talking paychecks and jobs for Texans. And I knew if I could get one picture with my name under her picture, we were going to slam dunk this campaign. Let me tell you that I am honored and humbled to be part of this graduation ceremony today with these fine graduates of the Academy of Creative Education. Ray and Blair have already been master of ceremonies. Mariachis have played. Everyone who has spoken, the graduates who have spoken at this podium, have done more eloquently and said more. I said, I'd rather sit here and listen to each and every one of you than for you to listen to me this afternoon, because there's nothing I will say or nothing I will do in my life that will be more important than what you've already said and what you have done by your actions in being here graduating today. And when you go outside of this Northeast Baptist Church today, look to the horizon and you'll almost see the 21st century. But right now, inside the church, graduates, look to your right and your left, in front and behind you. You're looking directly into the face of the 21st century. And let me tell you, it is a very bright century indeed, filled with promise and opportunity for our children. It's going to challenge our children, our children's children, in ways that we can't even begin to imagine. And these young graduates are going to accomplish goals that we haven't even considered. I share the pride that I see with the families and parents and grandparents and support friendships and neighbors and cousins and aunts and uncles who are here, and children who are here today. My greatest achievement is raising 5 sons. My greatest joy is my 4 young granddaughters. I said the good Lord has a sense of humor. After having lived in early boys' locker room decor, and only 2 of my guys got to alter, get real good by the time it's through, I'm getting all granddaughters. But in the decades ahead, I look forward to my granddaughters getting to this important milestone of graduating from high school. My dad, who was and is my hero, I lost Dad a few years ago, but my dad was my hero. Dad was Dean of the University of Texas Law School for 25 years. He said it's when he grew up picking cotton in Red River County that he decided he was going to have a sit-down job the rest of his life. But I said my dad taught the law, my mom was the law. It's on the home front that we learn it's not the dollars you make, it's the difference you make. And it's in this academy that you have learned it's not the dollars you make, it's the difference you make. And what a difference each and every one of you are going to make, not only in this community, in this state, but with a ripple effect across this global world that we live in. And I'm especially proud to be with you. You know, it's been said that some young men and some young women succeed because they're destined to. But most young men and most young women succeed because they are determined to. Each and every one of these graduates today have that very special determination. And I think it's most appropriate with the dedications and the flags and the dedications here today. The world changed September the 11th. Before that, reportedly what mattered was Brittany's belly button and Crest dual action whitening formula and the kickoff date for Survivor 3 and Al Gore's beard. Today, what matters so much more. And it's not only our New York police officers and firefighters, it's our Texas police officers and firefighters and our Red Cross volunteers and each and every one of these young men and young women that we honor here this afternoon. And we continue to pray for our president and pray for our men and women in harm's way and pray for our nation, and we pray for the bright future of these graduates. You know, right after that happened, my staff and I got to work and put together a Texas war relief package. And I'm just a little bit past recruiting age, but I said I can and I will lead the charge for taking care of the families and the children who are left behind. And we now have set up in my office through the Texas Tomorrow prepaid college tuition program. We have set up for any Texas child who, God forbid, loses a parent or a parent becomes disabled in the war against terrorism, whether it's a firefighter or a police officer or military man and woman, that child is going to be guaranteed a full 4-year college tuition paid for by the private sector. We have that set up and ready to go. I'm especially proud to be with you, Dr. McLaughlin, because of your great exemplary leadership, Mr. Superintendent, and the tremendous expertise and effort of your fine teachers and staff and student body alike. To command respect in Texas today, it is sufficient to say that I am a graduate of the Academy of Creative Education. And as Texans, we stand on the shoulders of giants. It's the Stephen F. Austins, the Davy Crockett's, and the Susanna Dickinsons, and the Elizabeth Nays, and the Barbara Jordans, and the Barbara Bushes, and it's our modern-day Texas pioneers, the Shanna Graves, and the Virginia Martinezes, and the Peter Rose, and the Shandy Jimenezes. And you all are our future, each and every one of you. Sam Houston's sort of one of my heroes, and Sam Houston always knew that the job of a true leader is to know when to act and when not to act. Well, obviously, each and every one of you know that it's been the time to act or you wouldn't be here graduating at your own self-paced part today. Very important milestone. Anyone who knows me at all knows it was always mothering number 1, mayoring number 2. Now it's grandmothering number 1 and comptroller number 2. Instead of one tough grandma, I'm really one soft touch grandma. I believe that there's no such thing as women's issues or men's issues. I think men as well as women are concerned about schools and families and communities and economics and a strong national defense. I sort of summarize my national defense philosophy as being a little bit like that great philanthropist Al Capone who said, quote, "You can get more done with kind words on a gun than you can with kind words." I don't want us to be held hostage by bin Laden or the Taliban or any Middle East Ayatollah ever again. But men and women have a responsibility to speak up and speak out on our issues of the day, demand accountability at every level of government for all public actions taken. I also remember something my dad told me from a very early age, and there are many days I remember this. He said, "Carol, if you don't have somebody mad at you, you probably haven't done anything." So I say to the graduates 2002, it's okay to have somebody mad at you. If you're speaking up in those causes of human well-being and human decency and pointing out what needs to be happening in the world. My vision for the 21st century is paychecks and jobs for Texans, limited government, unlimited opportunity. I want Texans now, you can be online instead of in line to get your driver's license and your motor vehicle registration. I think government's going to be seen as bigger, dumber, and slower than ever before if we don't become smaller, smarter, and faster right now, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And nothing is more important than education. I have 8 statutory public education responsibilities as comptroller, including, as Dr. Middleton referenced, auditing school districts for efficiency and effectiveness. And since 100 years and 100 pounds ago I started out a public school teacher, I'm going to exercise those duties fully. I want to drive more of every education dollar directly into the classroom with the students and the teachers where it belongs. A couple of sessions ago, the legislature, we've got to attract, retain, and reward good teachers. A couple of sessions ago, the legislature gave all statewide office holders, including me, a 15% salary increase. Well, that would have been, another $1,000 a month of my take-home pay. I immediately said, no, thank you. I said, I knew what the terms were going in when I ran for statewide office. I said, if the legislature has dollars to hand out, we need to start with teacher pay raises first, which is what we did. Let me tell you that trends give us a glimpse of the future, but it's up to us to predict the future. And as these graduates know, you're not going to wait for an engraved invitation. You didn't get an engraved invitation. You're going to roll up your sleeves and go to work. And that's the way it is throughout life, and that's why you're going to be successful throughout life. And we have got to create an education system that is seamless and unbroken. I am proposing, and it will be my #1 priority in the next session of the legislature, what I call Texas Next Step. When I was sworn in as comptroller in 1999, I set 10 principles for this 21st century. The first 3 were education related. The #1 was developing an educated workforce for the 21st century. My goal was clear then and it's clear now. I want Texas to have the most educated workforce in the nation. Now, my proposal on Texas Next Step would level the playing field, and we would offer all Texas students who have graduated from high school, as these graduates are doing today, the opportunity for higher education. Texas Next Step would make it possible for every Texas high school graduate to attend 2 years free at any public community college or public technical college or 2-year institution, with the state picking up the cost on the tuition, fees, and books. And it would truly make K through 14 the norm in this state and provide a step for those who seek to advance their education as far as their talents can take them. These young men and young women are maximizing their potential. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has said that by the year 2030, that 60% of Texans are only going to have a high school diploma or less. Well, I'll tell you what I say to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. I say hogwash. I haven't quite figured out how to translate that in Spanish. Maybe you can help me. But anyway, I say hogwash. We're going to prove that wrong. And we're going to prove it wrong with these graduates here today, and we're going to prove it wrong with Texas Next Step. I was visiting with some second graders at Zavala Elementary School in Austin recently, and I said, what are you going to be in the year 2030? And these are little, 7 or 8-year-olds. They were saying, astronauts and paleontologists and doctors and teachers and all sorts of great things. And I said, and how old will you be in the year 2030? And they were saying 36, 37, 38. And without thinking, I said, and how old will I be in the year 2030? This little kid said, you'll be dead. And I said, you're probably right. But if I'm not, I'm going to need the very best doctors. And let me tell you, these graduates of this class here today of 2002, you're going to be here in the year 2030, and you're going to tell the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics for me that they were wrong. I believe that Texas Next Step is a bold, unprecedented, but very necessary next step for a better educated workforce in the 21st century. What I have said is let's dedicate a small portion of the lottery dollars. It's less than 20% at the low part of the lottery, and the lottery is starting to trend back up again with the growth in the state. It would take less than 20% of the lottery dollars. When it's full blown, it would cost $150 million. I've already identified $250 million in cost savings. No tax increase. I've identified that in cost savings in state government to more than pay for Texas Next Step, with another $100 million to boot. And I would say that we need to have that seamless transition from high school into higher higher education and educated workforce and guarantee for our most precious resource, which is our young people, that all Texas and children have that opportunity. And I want you to know, and I hope you will join with me, because I'm going to go to the next session of the legislature. I'm going to ask not only that they adopt Texas Next Step, but they adopt it on an emergency basis. One of the provisions I have there is that you can take advantage of this as long as this is within 16 months of the time that you graduated from high school. You'll have 3 years to complete the 60 hours of coursework plus remedial courses that will be covered by the state, coursework, textbooks, fees, and all, so you can work while you're completing the program. Many have families and are working on the same time. And if I can get that adopted on emergency basis and write that legislation right, we're going to be within that time frame where these graduates would have been within 16 months of graduation. So that is my goal for the next session of the legislature. El futuro que quiero para mis nietas y lo mismo futuro que quiero para todos los niños y niñas y nietos y nietas de Texas. The future I want for my granddaughters, Catherine, Michelle, and Ellie, and Alex, is the future I want for all Texas children and grandchildren. And Texas Next Step is going to be the dropout preventing, student preparing, Boston, Berkeley beating, global success competing, technical training, scholastic raising, business attracting, welfare busting, jail avoiding, bright future programming, higher wage paying, way to ensure that Texas has the most educated workforce in the country. And the good news is Texas has not had a recession. We're not going to have a recession. We're going to continue to outpace the U.S. economy by at least a half percentage point, because all of you who are working hard here in Bexar County. And by the year 2005, our gross state product is going to top $1 trillion. If you compared our gross state product with other nations' gross national product, would have had the 9th largest economy in the world. And it certainly figures that Texas should have the most educated workforce in the world. What we all need, if we're going to attract good businesses and high-paying jobs for our kiddos, is we need that educated workforce. And what we all need from government, I figure, is less, not more. Less mandates, less taxation, less regulation. I'm going to continue to fight over-taxation and over-regulation and mandates that come unfunded, and in what I call environmental extremism at each and every level of government. Don't misunderstand me, but I think what we need is a bunch of good old common sense. And I don't know where you'll find more of good old common sense than with this graduating class here today of 2002. An example, and this is an example a few years back, but I've never found a better one. After the Exxon Valdez spill, and I don't excuse that, that was a tragedy. If you mess it up, you clean it up, you pay for it. But after the Exxon Valdez spill, Exxon was required to spend $18 million plus cleaning up 200 wild otters in Prince William Sound. Now, don't misunderstand me, I like wild otters, but that worked out to $93,000 per wild otter. And I wasn't there when that first $93,000 wild otter went swimming back into Prince William Sound, but CNN was, and they were taping it. And this $93,000 wild otter goes swimming back into Prince William Sound, and this whale comes along and goes, whomp, swallows the wild otter. I have found out since that the second wild otter was swallowed too. They just didn't show it on camera. Think what you could do in Bexar County for a homeless family for $93,000, for educating these young people for $93,000. The World Health Organization tells us that there are millions of children in this world who are not immunized against 6 deadly diseases, and it costs $14.60 to immunize a child in this world against 6 deadly diseases. For what was spent cleaning up 200 plus wild otters in Prince William Sound, we could have immunized 1.2 million children in this world against 6 deadly diseases. I said, where is our good old common sense? My short version of saying that is that I am certain that the graduates here, the ACE graduates 2002 that are here today, like most Texans, understand and appreciate that people and paychecks and jobs and our kiddos' health and education has got to take priority over cave beetles and duck-billed flycatchers and atwater prairie chickens and stale daughters and sharp-nosed sturgeon eggs, and in East Texas, red-cockaded woodpeckers, in Austin, the Barton Creek salamander, of which there are 5, and in Houston County, Bastrop County, the Houston toad. if my mother had been here, I just lost my mom last year. If my mother had been here, she'd be saying, "Slow down, Carol. I can't listen as fast as you talk." My kids always say I speak 365 words a minute with gusts up to 400 miles an hour. But I told folks the reason I talk this fast is when I was a kid, my mom would let me help her in the kitchen. She let me lick the beaters on the electric mixer, but she wouldn't turn them off. Let me say to you graduates that these are times that have been seen only once before in our nation's history, perhaps been seen once before in our nation's history, and that's the challenge the greatest generation faced 60 years ago that left an indelible mark on the history and the future of the world. And we're again at that crossroads. And we look to the new generation and ask, does it have the right stuff? Will you listen to the stories individually and collectively of each of these graduates of this Academy of Creative Education today? And the answer is a resounding yes, they've got the right stuff. And they're the giants that we now stand on the shoulders of. And as comptroller, my bottom line's always kind of been that of former governor of this state, Sam Houston, who said govern wisely and as little as possible. But he also said, Sam Houston also said, he knew the obligation a government has to protect its people and to defend the freedom that we all enjoy and must never take for granted. And he said, we're nerve for the contest, and we must conquer or we will perish. Well, today, we are nerve for the contest, and we will conquer, we will not perish. And led by another great Texan and former governor, President George W. Bush, we will conquer and not perish. And led by these 2002 graduates of ACE, we will conquer and we will not perish. Texas belongs to no special interest group, no special political credo, no special individual. It belongs to all Texans. But no one is more important in this 21st century than the graduates that we honor here this afternoon. And I just want you to know how proud I am to be with you. It's been said that life is not a brief candle, but rather a burning torch, which we hold for a moment briefly, and we want that torch to burn as brightly as possible to pass on to future generations. I want you to know that that torch burns very brightly indeed in these graduates' hands of the Academy of Creative Education to pass on to future generations. Congratulations and Godspeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comptroller Rylander, for sharing that inspirational and motivational message. This school year marked the 11th anniversary of the opening of the Academy. Since 1991, Northeast has made a difference in the lives of over 2,100 students who needed that one more chance to succeed. Our community is dedicated to youth and equality education. Community members of the Academy Advisory Corporate Council serve as mentors to the Academy students. They provide scholarships, tutor students in math and science, participate with students in community service projects, and arrange Life After ACE programs. Two of our council members have been advocates since the conception of ACE. Mrs. Muriel McDonald and Mr. Clarence Bray served on the Northeast Board of Trustees. Please stand. As a special tribute, all council members are listed at the back of your programs. If you are an advisory corporate council member and were able to join us today, please stand and receive our appreciation.
Staff at the Central Office Divisions assist Academy students in the learning process. They provide resources, supplies, and the teaching support needed for us to continue our education. If you represent a Central Office Division, we want to thank you. Please stand so you may be recognized.
We would like to thank two high school principals who are with us today. Mr. Wendell Watson from MacArthur High School, please stand. And Mr. Joe Reason from Churchill, please stand. Many Northeast administrators, counselors, and teachers recommended students for the Academy program. We thank them for caring about us. It is because of them and their interest in our future that many of us are referred to the Academy. Principals, administrators, counselors, and teachers, please stand so that we may show our appreciation.
We'd like to recognize two educational leaders who initiated the innovative school grant that provided seed money to start the Academy program. We offer our deepest gratitude to two of our founders for daring to dream differently. Dr. Arlene Patterson, the former Director of Community Education in Northeast and now the Director of Extended Learning at Texas Lutheran University, and Mr. Twain Tharp, our Chief Academy Ambassador, the Executive Director of Special Programs for Northeast. Please stand.
We love our Academy teachers and staff. They have provided the inspiration we needed to succeed. They have been more than just teachers, they have been our friends. They reminded us to laugh, to dream, and to hope. We thank them for enriching our lives. They do whatever it takes to provide us with quality education. Will the 14 staff members of the Academy of Creative Education please stand?
Our sponsor for this graduation is Pastor Brad Wheeler. Pastor Wheeler graduated from Roosevelt High School, attended Garner Middle School, and Cerna Elementary School. Pastor Wheeler is unable to be with us at this graduation. However, this is the 5th graduation Pastor Wheeler has hosted for ACE. He is a true servant leader in our community.
Presenting the spring graduation candidates from the Academy of Creative Education is our principal, Dr. Mary Jo McLaughlin.
Thank you, Aubrey. And now, Academy graduation candidates, we have arrived at that special moment for which you have worked so hard. Please stand. Will the ACE teachers and staff please stand? Dr. Middleton, this exemplary team proudly presents to you the graduation candidates from the Academy of Creative Education. These candidates have met all the requirements for a high school diploma or a graduate equivalency diploma as stipulated by the Texas Education Agency and the state of Texas. We therefore present them to you as duly qualified to receive their high school diploma. These students validate our efforts to serve the community.
Thank you, Dr. McLaughlin. I will tell you this. I want to thank each and every one of you for succeeding at your dream, because you've also made a dream for all of us come true. You serve as our example of what can be done. And as superintendent, I congratulate you. I too certify that you have fulfilled all the requirements for graduation, and I present you this afternoon to the Northeast Board of Trustees, represented by Ms. Sandi Hughey. Congratulations.
Candidates, please be seated. I attended 7 of the recent graduation ceremonies held in Northeast District. There's a recurring theme in all of them. You hold the future in your hands. Our nation's recent events have changed the future for everyone. I'm proud to know that the future, my future and your future, is in the hands of young people like you who've already accepted life's challenges and met them head on. It is my honor and privilege to accept this class of 2002 on behalf of the Northeast Independent School District Board of Trustees, and to acknowledge these students as duly qualified by the state of Texas and the Texas Education Agency, and entitled to be declared graduates of the Northeast Independent School District. Congratulations, graduates.
Announcing the names of the candidates is our Academy Art Technology teacher, Mrs. Lynn Belisle. Mrs. Belisle is this year's recipient of the Trinity Prize for Excellence in Teaching. In this house of God, please show respect and proper restraint as the graduates cross the stage.
Christopher Ray Lowry. Shannon Danae Graves. Christine Elise Mariano. Virginia Elizabeth Martinez. Lucy N. Suniga. Peter Schultz Rowe. Thank you. Would the next row of graduates please stand? Tony Marie Abrams. Alexis Nicole Alfaro. Mike Allen. Luke David Bagnardi. Lori Ann Bermea. Jacob D. Briggs. Catherine Ryan Burr. Next row, please. Thank you. Carrie Michelle Cardenas. Stephen Paul Davenport. Crystal Brooke DeMint. Matthew John Demeline. Kara Shannon Duffy. Stephen Matthew Filipski. Steve Patrick Flores. Thank you. Would the next row of graduates please stand? Stephanie Deanne Franklin. Laura Christine Garza. Rhiannon Raina Garza. Jesse A. Gonzalez. Tara Elise Graham. AJ Groen. Benjamin Allen Harple. Saleh Harhara. Gerald Lee Hires II. Sandra Kareen Jeffries. Shandy Christella Jimenez. Tyler Ryan Kinneman. Thank you. For the next row of graduates, please stand. Michael Aaron Kozlowski. Lacey Jelaine Lofton. Colette Christine Madrid. Alec Kazuki McChesney. John Edward Mendiola. Luis Ernesto Mendoza. Larry Dale Mitchell. Justin Garrett Olive. Eric G. Pedraza. Oscar Perez. Christina Renee Porter. Would the next row of graduates please stand? Joel J. Rodriguez. Rebecca Elaine Sanchez. Christina Rayanne Saraninen. Christy Lee Sheehan. Matthew A. Solis. Cody Lee Stoddard. Kendall Amber Swartz. Melanie Ray Simon. Chin Tron. Victoria Celeste Villarreal. Brandon Wynn. Several of our graduates are currently serving our country in the United States military. Timothy Alexander Phillips, Dwayne David Vasquez, Enrique Linares, and Scott Ward. Accepting on their behalf are Sergeant Wood and Corporal Torres. Graduates, please stand. Turn and face your families and your friends. May I present the Spring 2002 graduating class from the Academy of Creative Education.
On behalf of the Academy student body, I'd like to thank Mr. Ed Miles Jr., Mr. Vincent Green, and the Academy Advisory Corporate Council for their commitment and service. They make it possible for many of us to continue our education. Presenting the closing remarks is our Associate Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Sorry. Presenting scholarship awards is the chairman of the Academy Advisory Corporate Council, Mr. Ed Miles Jr., and the treasurer of the Advisory Council, as well as chairman of the Scholarship Committee, Mr. Vincent Green.
Good afternoon. It's my great honor to recognize the Texas Scholars. Texas Scholars is a program that recognizes those students who have completed the state-recommended Distinguished Achievement Program. These students take additional courses in science, social studies, foreign language, and fine arts. Students who complete these programs are better prepared for college, a technical school, or the workplace. Receiving the Texas Scholar Awards from the Academy of Education are Gerald Hires, and also Alex Kazuski McChesney.
In addition to the Texas Scholars Program, the Academy Advisory Corporate Council is very excited and very happy to be able to announce several other scholarships this afternoon. Some of the recipients already have been made aware of their awards, and I'd like to announce those first and ask each one to come up, and we have a certificate for you. Come up as your name is called. Joel Rodriguez has received a Career Colleges of Texas Scholarship. Gina Martinez has received the Presidential Service Scholarship. Luis Mendoza has received the Career Colleges of Texas Scholarship. Cody Stoddard has also received the Career Colleges of Texas Scholarship. Kendall Schwartz has also received the Career of Texas Scholarship. Victoria Villarreal Victoria has also received the Career Colleges of Texas Scholarship. I might just indicate, in the spirit of Comptroller Rhinelander comments earlier, each one of these Career Colleges of Texas Scholarships are for tuition for career programs at any participating member institutions of higher education in the state of Texas. And so it's a really very good scholarship for each one of these young people. The next one has, I think she was announced earlier, but has 3 different awards and scholarships. The Presidential Service Scholarship, the San Antonio College Women's Center Scholarship, and the Sarita Wyatt Career and Technology Scholarship, Aubrey Zatarain. In addition to these scholarships, the Academy Advisory Corporate Council started a few years ago a scholarship fund in which we want to continue to encourage some of our students to go on to college. Unfortunately, of all the students who applied, we had a poll of the scholarship committee on Friday, and we would like to have awarded scholarships to everybody, whether you applied or not. But having somewhat limited funds, we are able to award several scholarships at this time. And I'd like to just take a second and recognize some groups and some individuals here who, without their help, these scholarships would not be possible. First of all, I would like to recognize the folks from the North Central Optimist Club. Would you please stand? The Bluebonnet Masonic Lodge. Each of these service organizations not only meet on a regular basis, but they have been very generous in their financial support of graduates of the Academy of Creative Education. I would also like to recognize at this time Mr. Roland Dubé, who is Executive Director of Advanced Placement for the Animal Community College District. Many of the students here will find themselves, at least for the first couple of years, going to one of the Animal Community College District schools. And we have worked out a very rewarding arrangement with the foundation that scholarship funds that we give to students who go to one of those schools to get their basics out of the way, and we all know what those are, that the foundation will match scholarship dollars that we give the students. And hopefully that will get our students a lot further in education than they may otherwise be able to get. This time I would like to announce the scholarship winners. The first one is Stephanie Franklin. The second recipient is Carrie Cardenas. And the third recipient is Christina Porter. The two recipients of the scholarship being awarded by the North Central Optimist Club are Lucianne Sunica and Peter Rowe. The Blue Bond and Masonic Lodge Scholarship goes to Virginia Martinez. All these scholarship recipients deserve a great hand. Before I leave, I would like to ask all the individuals who won scholarships to please come up here after graduation. The various groups want to take pictures in your cap and gown, so if you could please do that, we'd appreciate it.
Okay. On behalf of the Academy student body, I'd like to thank Mr. Ed Miles Jr., Mr. Vincent Green, and the Academy Advisory Corporate Council for their commitment and service. They make it possible for many of us to continue our education. Presenting the closing remarks is our Associate Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Alicia Thomas.
Well, congratulations, graduates. We are very proud of you. Today you have a great accomplishment. You have achieved and earned a high school diploma. And you did it despite the adversity that each one of you faced. I'm sure that along the way there were times when you might have lost hope. And I suspect the fact that each of you didn't came from the support that you received from your parents, from your teachers, from your mentors, your role models who struggled with you and for you against the obstacles that you faced, and who provided you with that sense of possibility you needed to help you face the future. Now that you've accomplished this goal, you've learned much about the personal determination it takes to succeed at any task. As Mrs. Rylander said today about the 21st century, We face dazzling international changes and challenges, extraordinary social and economic upheavals. Today, it's not easy for anyone to grow up, to craft a purposeful role in today's world. But each of you graduates sitting here begins ahead of the game. You each face your future with a bonus, because you already know what it means to struggle, to face adversity, to persevere, and then to achieve and be successful. Today, a high school degree gets you in the door, but it will not get you to the top of the career ladder, and it will not keep you there. To stay there, you have to remember the lessons that you've learned here at the Academy of Creative Education. You have to continue to work hard, to take the initiative, pay attention to detail, show care and pride in your work. And with here, we know each one of you is going to be successful. Don't ever stop learning and preparing your mind. If you do, you'll be left behind. The world will continue changing, just like a kaleidoscope right before your eyes. You must continue to learn to keep up with it. The most important single thing you can do is to keep on reading. Until now, you've been reading for class or for work, but you need to keep reading for life in order to learn from the wisdom of others. Finally, as you face the challenges in the days and years ahead, remember what you've learned at ACE. Character, self-discipline, determination, attitude, and service are the substance of life. Today, we join your families and your teachers in celebrating your success. We look forward to your futures. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. We appreciate your kind words of support. Academy graduate Gina Martinez will conclude our ceremony with a moment of reflection.
Class of 2002. As graduates from ACE, we have been blessed with a second chance to succeed. Though we come from diverse backgrounds and experienced many hardships, we have overcome all obstacles to be here today. Now that a chapter in our lives has come to an end, another one full of opportunity has opened for us. We look forward to what tomorrow brings and pray that our dreams and goals become a reality. With the knowledge we've acquired from teachers, parents, and peers, we go forth to find our place in the world. We are the future, and with that comes great responsibility. Class of 2002, buena suerte. Good luck.
We ask that the audience please remain seated until the graduates have exited. Fellow graduates, please stand. Join Aubrey and me as we exit to the triumphant sounds of pomp and circumstance.